One of the first things to explain to a Christian who has expressed interest in becoming a Noahide, after explaining the basic differences, no Yeshu, no New Testament, what is a good place to start? I have an email that I've published before that I sent to a lot of people that starts with the words of Dear New Testament Believer. And it has a bunch of different, I think it's half a dozen or so different videos that I recommend all Christians to watch, which is the first thing that they need to do is to arrive at a conclusion, not an interest, a conclusion that the New Testament is false, man-made document. It has nothing to do with God. It's completely man-made document. So those few lectures are very good at showing you evidence that the New Testament is completely man-made idolatry. So that's the first thing that it established. The second thing is that once you establish the New Testament is nonsense, at the same time those same documents, those same lectures will show a person that there is a document from God and it's called the Torah. And so that will give them number one, the information to get rid of their pre-existing beliefs, and number two, a foundation for their newfound beliefs, if you will. And so at the very least, they have something to start off with and get them to understand why they need to become a Noahide at least. So those few lectures are a good starting point. And of course, once they watch those few lectures, then it would be a good idea for them to continue watching lectures from those same rabbis, myself, Rabbi Mizrahi, Rabbi Tovia Singer, to continue learning other subjects from the Torah and things like that. And they can contact us and they can join our WhatsApp group and they could get or go to our website and go to the section called conversion or Noachides, and over there's a list of lectures and different things that they can watch, or a playlist. One of them is a playlist. It says playlist for converts, but it actually has many lectures for Noachides. So you could find Noahide lectures on our website or our YouTube page or our app, and that's a good place to at least learn some of the basics about being a Noahide. And one of the main things of being a Noahide is to learn Mussar, to learn, character development. That's one of the biggest obligations for a Noahide is to learn Mussar. So they can learn it from us. They can learn it from Rabbi Mizrahi. They can learn it, from a few sources in English and Hebrew, obviously quite a bit more. But the point is that after they eliminate their pre-existing belief, they have at least a place to go with the new teachings they need to have. I think at that point they'll be on the right path to build from there. If a person makes tshuva in this life, would they still get punished for sins of past lives? Very good question. The part of the punishment for sins of past lives is to be reincarnated and to fix those sins during that life. So sometimes a person is doing everything good, they're doing tshuva, they're learning, they're doing fantastic, and all of a sudden, something bad happens to them. They break a toe or something, or they get a fender bender, or they lose money, or whatever it is. Like, what did I do? What did I do? And sometimes they really didn't do anything in this life to deserve that punishment, but rather they did something in a previous life, and HaShem enjoys their tshuva so much and how they're doing in this life so much. And he says, okay, you know what? You're doing so good. Let me start cleaning you up in this life that you're in order for you to finish this life and not have to suffer at all in the next life for the previous sins. So part of the reason, the biggest part of the reason of why HaShem brings a person into this world again is in order to give them suffering as a form of payment for the previous life, but also as a form of rectifying those sins. So he'll send a person that sinned with one girl that he wasn't allowed to be with, he'll send it the same girl reincarnated at his reincarnation time. He'll send the same girl to the same guy, in his new life, and he'll expect him to overcome that sin and not sin with her. And if he does that, then he won't get punished. He'll do complete tshuva. And in fact, the Gemara in Masechet Yomah page 86, says that a person that does tshuva out of fear of the Almighty, which is a fantastic tshuva that the Rabbi Nachman Breslov says he only wishes that the religious in his generation would do tshuva from fear. The Gemara says people who do tshuva from fear, it turns all of their purposeful sins into accidental sins, which means it lowers the punishment dramatically. But the Gemara says if a person does tshuva out of love of Hashem, which is a higher level of tshuva, then it could turn all of their sins into mitzvot. And that could even turn the sins of the previous incarnation into mitzvot, meaning he could get actually rewarded for sins he made because of how high his tshuva is, or how high her tshuva is in this world. But that means that they have to not only have there's no such thing as just loving Hashem. That means they have to arrive at the highest level of fear of Hashem, and then they're starting to love Hashem. So what the Chachamim explain is that it's never truly just 100% love. It's either only fear or a combination of fear and love. But needless to say, all tshuva is good, and all tshuva is going to clean a person up from his sins. But again, tshuva is not just learning a little bit and being a nice person. Tshuva also means that a person needs to do a lot of different chesed, tikuni, all types. The more the best. In so many words, my rabbi told me this once, recently. He said when Rabbi Alimi came to us and told us that the situation in Eretz Yisrael is disastrous, because the girls are not going to school for a long time now, so a lot of the religious girls are becoming weaker in their emunah and bitachon, and even in keep observing mitzvot, and we need to do something for them. And we're not exactly printing money in the organization, or actually the donations went down drastically. Last month, it was a big test. Donations went down 70%. Apparently, everybody watched the shiur but forgot to donate. But the point is that we're not exactly big fundraisers or anything. So, we live on miracles. So when donations go down. When they go up, they go up. Either way, we still do what we need to do. But when Rabbi Alimi came to us and said, listen, we need to do something to help these girls, there's literally 400 plus girls in a community that are in jeopardy of completely going off the derech. So we analyzed how much it's going to cost to do it. We're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,000 a month. So it's a big expense. And again, we didn't have enough time to wait for donors and so on. So we just, we do it or not. So I told Rabbi Alima, let me think about it. And I want to speak to Rabbi Ephraim alone. And I told him, listen, I want to do it, but I mean, it's this really our mission? Do we need to do it and so on? So Rabbi Ephraim told me this, and I think he only told me the same thing once in my life other than that. He said, listen, none of us know how long we're going to be here. None of us know. None of us know if we're going to be tomorrow, if we're going to be in a year from now. None of us know. Some of us are planning to be here for 500 years with the amount of properties we have and the things we are. But in reality, nobody knows how long we're going to be here. None of us know how long we're going to be here. Some of us know the truth of why we're here. And those that know why they're here, they know they have to grab as many mitzvot as they can possibly grab, whatever you can. You could do it today, do it today. What about tomorrow? Who says you're going to be here tomorrow? Grab it. You could do it now, do it now. You could do it for 1 month, do it for 1 month. You can do it for 5 months. Just grab it. And that was the answer. He didn't say do it. He didn't say don't do it. He says, listen, some of us know why you're there. Some of us. But nobody knows how long you're going to be here. If you know why you're here, grab as many mitzvot as possible. And that was in essence the only conversation we needed to have about this. They decided to move forward with this seminary, which Baruch Hashem has 400 girls and lives literally in a miracle. But the point being is that you have to grab as many mitzvot as you possibly can while you're alive. So tshuva is to constantly learn, perfect yourself, improve yourself, and do as much good as you can that's within your power. Without thinking so much about the future, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, today, worry about today as much as possible. And when a person does that, then a person is literally fulfilling their purpose and is going to prepare themselves a world of only good, no punishment whatsoever. No punishment whatsoever, because everybody that knows why they're in this world, they know that they need to help people. So, for example, when you are giving some of your videos and you're trying to help people do TeShuva and so on, that's a fantastic thing. It says the ladies that are watching you, or anyone that's watching us, doing TeShuva as a result of it, or reading some of your articles. That's a fantastic thing. Why? Because they're getting closer to HaShem, and you're doing kiruv in essence. So when you're donating money, that's you're able to donate, that's doing kiruv. It's fantastic. When you're giving CDs out, that's doing kiruv. That's helping people. Why is all of this relevant? Because the Zohar Kadosh says something even more than Chovot HaLevavot says. Chovot HaLevavot says somebody that does kiruv, even someone that has mitzvot like Moshe Rabbeinu, doesn't get to the level of somebody that does kiruv. And the Zohar Kadosh supplements that. Says somebody that does kiruv, there is no judgment in heaven for him. There's no judgment. There's no bedin. He walks in, he goes directly to wherever he wants. They can't talk to him in Shamayim. Can't talk to him. Why? No one can judge him. No one has the permission to judge him. Hashem said, no, he's with me. He's VIP. She's VIP. No, she did kiruv. She brought thousands and thousands of my kids back to me. You gonna talk to her? You gonna judge her for anything? No, but Hashem, what? Don't say nothing. How many of my kids you brought back home? Yeah, I'm sorry, Hashem, I'm sorry. Okay, that's it. No one's allowed to talk to them. They go wherever they want. Where is that source? In the Gemara also. Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia was the nephew of Rabbi Kadosh. Says that Rabbi Chia in his generation, he was the one that went to Shamayim and was able to go to anywhere he wanted in Shamayim. Why? Because he did kiruv. So when a person wants to do tshuva and not have any of their sins ever at all even mentioned in Shamayim, questioned in Shamayim, they have to get involved in kiruv, because that in essence is the ultimate cleaning process. But in order to succeed in kiruv, they obviously have to learn, and they have to do tshuva themselves. You can't succeed in kiruv while you're violating Shabbat. You can't succeed in kiruv if you're eating pig. You can't succeed in kiruv if a woman's not modest. Can't. So a person that's doing tshuva themselves is going to have the spiritual strength to do kiruv, and that kiruv will get them literally not only a clean bill of health in Shamayim, no bill, nothing. They could literally just walk anywhere. They can go to anywhere they want. They go see Sarai Menu. You want to go see Sarai Menu? Okay, go see Sarai Menu. If you're a woman, you go see Sarai Menu. Want to go see Moshe Rabbeinu? Go see Moshe Rabbeinu. Go see Moshe Rabbeinu. That's how much Hashem values people that do kiruv. So that's again, when people understand it, it's no surprise that Rabbi Kadosh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, writes in the Gemara, if people only knew what helping Am Yisrael means, they would literally spend 70 years even to get one person to do tshuva. It's still worth it. One person. Needless to say, how many people you can save today with simply pressing share on this lecture, or a few dollars, or some effort to give away some books or CDs. How many people a person can save with a click of a button today? It's literally, you can get hundreds and hundreds of people to do tshuva on a regular basis. Just anyone that watches Rabbi Ephraim's shiur on a regular basis knows that in the last 3 weeks, we've had a campaign to bring some kedusha to the world and get as many people to keep Shabbat. In the last 3 weeks, we have over 570 people, 570 brand new people, 570 people. How about 571? 571 people have committed to keep Shabbat already in 3 weeks. This does not include the other people that are watching me. It's just 571 new Shomrei Shabbat people in the last 3 weeks. You know what kind of kedusha that brings? Most speakers, rabbis, people in a career of 20 years are not going to see 570 people keep Shabbat. Because it's not, their focus is not necessarily always to do kiruv. Their focus sometimes is to do other things. So when you care about Am Yisrael, Hashem will give you the strength to do as much as your heart wants. And if you do it, you don't have to worry about sins. Because the Mishnah in Avot says, Kol ha-mezakeh et harabin en chet ba al yado. Anyone that helps the public do TeShuva, does kiruv, no sin comes to his hand. Meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu protects that person from sins. Protects him from judgment, because Chachamim say, if a person helped doing kiruv, he in essence becomes the people's rabbi or the people's rabbanit. So it's not fair for their students to be in heaven and the rabbanit to be in Gehenom, the rabbi to be in Gehenom. So what does Hashem do? No, anytime there's a sins, Hashem protects him from that to make sure that He gives him the all extra strength to overcome these things. So a person that wants to eliminate all suffering whatsoever in the next life, make sure that your life is constantly involved with kiruv, financially, time, effort, resources, whatever you can. When a person finds out to do TeShuva and the next day they pass away, will that person be judged as a wicked person or a righteous person? So the Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah has Nakdimon ben Gurion. Not Nakdimon, sorry. Rabbi Dordia. Rabbi Dordia was one of these people that the Gemara says there was no sin he didn't make, there was no woman that he wasn't with. And this person made every sin in the world, and one day a prostitute that he was with told him that, yeah, people like you know, people are terrible, but you are the worst. You have no chance of going to heaven. And he said, why? He says, look, all you do is make sins. So when he got Mussar from a prostitute, he took it to heart, and he ran to the mountains and started feeling sorry for himself, and he prayed to the heavens. He says, you know, oh heaven, please pray for me and help me. And the heavens responded to him saying, you made so many sins that you even affected us that we have to do TeShuva. Pray for yourself. Then he prayed to the mountains, and the mountains said the same thing. And he prayed to everything said the same thing. You have to pray for yourself. And he realized that he made so many sins that nothing and no one can help him. And that broke his heart, where he started crying to Hashem to do TeShuva, and he died from his tears. He died from the amount of pain that he was in. When he finally realized what bad situation he was, and then a bat kol, a heavenly voice came out and says, Olam Haba welcomes Rabbi Dordia. He wasn't a rabbi, he was just from Rasha. But the Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, the Chacham, the Tana that wrote the Mishnah, heard this bat kol and says, look, someone can buy their entire Olam Haba in a single moment, where not only he got an invitation to go to Olam Haba, but also he was called rabbi. Now, does that mean that Rabbi Dordia skipped Gehenom and went to heaven? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that TeShuva that he made, even though he hasn't fulfilled any mitzvot yet because he died, that TeShuva was so significant that it wiped out his permanent punishment, and now he has to suffer a certain amount, and in essence probably has to be reincarnated in order to get to this Olam Haba. But he has the ability to do it because he was on a path that he wasn't able to. So if a person, in essence, let's say he says, I want to do TeShuva, and then he dies the next day, which is not really common, but let's say that happens, then that irurei TeShuva, that desire to do TeShuva, in itself, it doesn't give him heaven. But what does it do? It eliminates the permanent Gehenom. Meaning, it's if that person was violating Shabbat his whole life, or wasting seed his whole life, and was supposed to go to Gehenom forever, that irurei TeShuva eliminates that permanent punishment. They're still going to get punishment, perhaps for a really long time, but it's not going to be permanent, because that irurei TeShuva keeps him connected to Hashem, or reconnects him to Hashem, and that eliminates that permanent punishment. But this is very, very uncommon, and one of the reasons is that the Reshit Chochmah and the Zohar and several other places talk about how one of the things that the Satan does is that the moments before, the hour before a person dies, the Satan shows up to the person, and that person that's about to die is the only one that sees the Satan. He's the only one that sees him, and the Satan is huge, and as scary as can humanly be, as scary as humanly imaginable, beyond humanly imaginable. He's enormous. He reaches the sky. He's full of eyes. He's got this special type of knife, and on the tip of the knife there's a drop, and that drop is what kills a person. And he scares the person, and he says, listen, if you don't want me to kill you, say you don't believe in HaShem. Say you regret the mitzvot that you did, depending on whether the person was religious or not. So in essence, he tells a person to be a heretic last minute. Be a heretic last minute. Because he says, if you do that, I will kill you. And even if the person doesn't, he still kills him. But the person is so scared that sometimes he becomes a heretic last minute. That's why the Chachamim, you'll see it in several books, where the Chachamim discuss where a person should actually make a statement to his friends or family that's next to him and tell him, listen, if I'm ever at a point where I'm going to die, if you hear some heretical remarks coming from me, like I don't believe in God, don't believe me. It's complete nonsense. Don't take what I say as a real truth. It's complete nonsense. I went crazy. So this is one of the statements the Chachamim has told us to do, because it is possible that and likely that the Satan comes to every single person and threatens him by telling them that, listen, if you go against Hashem now, I won't kill you. Now, the minute that the person either goes against Hashem or withstand the test, that drop falls into that person's mouth and the person dies. And that's actually what makes the person, the body smell. That drop from the Satan makes the body smell after he dies. But the point is that, so for a person to think that they are going to live a sinful life like Bil'am, but yet they're going to do tshuva a minute before they died or a day before they died, is not only far-fetched, it is extremely unlikely. Extremely unlikely. Why? Because even the righteous are tested with that test I just described, with the Satan coming in the last moment. Needless to say, it's hard for them, but they pass it. Surely a person that didn't connect himself to God is much more likely to fail. And there's actually some life stories that Rav Nissim Yagen said in several lectures, where he says, I saw with my own eyes people that went against Hashem in the last minutes before they died, even though they lived a religious life. He said, I heard it, I saw it with my own eyes. So this is not like some fairy tale you read in books. This is stuff that, if you're around people that died, you get to see some of this stuff, where they start saying things that are ridiculous moments before they die, and that's actually what's happening. So a person should not depend on their last moments to do tshuva, because it's very unlikely, very, very unlikely. Is a married woman allowed to let her hair down when she is around her children? If a married woman is only around her husband and small children, then she's allowed to let her hair out. But if her children have grown up, then no. And if there's other people in the house other than her husband, not allowed to have her hair out. Only her husband really ideally should see her hair out, because even the children should not. It's allowed, but they should not. Why? It's good for the children to see their parents in their most holy ways, because the children admire the parents and want to be like them. So if you have a little girl, you have a little daughter, and she sees her ima, her mother, constantly wearing the kisur rosh, then that's what the girl's going to want. But if she sees that her mom takes off the kisur rosh at any chance that she gets, then that's what the girl's going to want. She's going to want to pretty much not have the kisur rosh. So it's better for the kids to see the mom constantly covering her hair. And the Gemara says that one of the tzadikot of the previous of the times of the Bet HaMikdash merited to have all 7 of her kids become Kohanim Gdolim, the high priest. All of them became Kohanim Gdolim, which is a statistical anomaly. So the sages all came to her and they said, how did you merit to have such blessing in your life that all of your kids, one after another, at some point became Kohanim Gdolim? How could it be? I mean, such a praise. And she says, the Gemara says, and I think it's Masechet Shabbat, she says, my whole life I covered my hair to such an extent, not only did my children not ever see my hair, But even the walls of my house, the walls of my house never saw my hair. Because even when I changed my hair, I changed my kisuros, or I had to fix something or something, and I was under a sheet to cover myself so even the walls don't see it. That's how much I love this mitzvah, and how much I enjoyed it, and I adored it, and how I valued modesty. That even the walls are not living flesh and blood. He says that, yeah, but still, we should try. Cover. And that's the thing. She merited to have kids that were extremely successful. That's actually one of the promises. One of the promises of Torah, that a woman that's truly modest, that covers her hair with a mitpachat or with a hat, and is modest in her behavior, is modest in her clothing, and covers her hair, the blessings that the Zohar Kadosh and the Torah itself promises such a woman are the best blessings in the Torah. It brings sustenance to the house. It helps her husband make a lot of money. It helps her kids become wise tzaddikim, righteous kids. It helps them stay healthy, protects them from damage. Like literally, all the greatest things that a human being can ever want for their life and for their kids come from the woman's modesty. So when a woman is modest, there is a promise from the Torah that there will be a lot of good in their life. Now again, it doesn't mean that it's automatic and it's all the time. There's obviously everybody has tests. But nonetheless, you'll see when you calculate when the woman took on the mitzvah, and you calculate a certain amount of time after, you see how their life has improved in such amazing ways. You see blessings that, that's unimaginable. I mean, I know one woman, I can tell you this. I saw this with my own eyes. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I know one woman that, if you had 10 years ago, the last thing on her mind was to be modest. Forget about covering her hair. The last thing on her mind was to be modest. This woman took on Torah, mitzvot, did TeShuva, Baruch HaShem, something amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Took on everything. She's like one of those women that loves the mitzvot so much that she sleeps with the kisurosh. She sleeps with the kisurosh. There's only a few women I know. They literally sleep with pachad on. They love it so much, they sleep that way. I saw one time, her 3-year-old kid. I saw a 3-year-old kid, and this 3-year-old kid asks me, because I think at some point I said, Shaul HaMelech was very tzaddik. The Gemara says that his because he was so righteous, then his daughter, his granddaughter, was Esther. This 3-year-old kid, Ishtabach Shimo La'ad, I can't believe I heard this with my own ears and still was alive to tell you the story. This 3-year-old kid says to me, I don't understand. How come you say that Shaul HaMelech was a tzaddik? I said, I just told you it was tzaddik. The Torah says tzaddik. He goes, but if he was such a tzaddik, he tells me this, if he was such a tzaddik, how come he wanted to kill David HaMelech? 3-year-old kid asks me a legitimate question. None of you have asked me this question today. 3-year-old kid says, if Shaul HaMelech was such a tzaddik, how come he wanted to kill David HaMelech? What 3-year-old do you see? I can only wish this on my own family, on your family, on everybody I love's family. Amazing. Why? His mother, you can't ask for more. So that's the thing, Rabotai. A woman that wants to bring blessings to her kids, to her husband, has to overcome the test. The test of modesty, and of course the test of life. If she remains modest in her behavior, in her clothing, and needless to say in her kisurosh, she's bringing all of the greatest blessings you can possibly bring in a person's life. It's for a woman to cover her hair with a mitpacha, just to explain to you, it's like a guy wearing tefillin all day, which none of us can do because we can't even think properly sometimes when we're wearing tefillin. The Gemara says that if you're wearing tefillin, you have to only think kedusha. You can't think about your mundane life. So you're not allowed to wear tefillin if you constantly think about nonsense. So when a woman wears a kisurosh, it's like she's wearing tefillin all the time. That's how much blessing it brings to a person's life. So it's when a woman understands how great it is, she's not going to want to take off her kisurosh, not next to her kids, not next to anybody. The only time she's going to do it is when she's private with her husband, and that's perfectly fine. and good. But other than that, there's so much blessing in it, you don't want to miss a minute out of it.